educate, and we should do some learning, which we can do in all the sectors through inviting learned people, speakers, experts in various fields, which are contributing towards the net zero goal of a country. We aim to achieve net zero emissions, and that is a big goal. And all our speakers, all our experts have given us information, knowledge towards how our sectors can contribute, and we can move towards achieving this goal. Now, distributed renewable energy, which is the topic of today, that is one very important area. And in the ministry also, we had been putting a lot of efforts where we can address the issue of electricity, we can address the issue of energy all over India. We all know we are big emitters of emissions, and we need to curb our emissions. And side by side, we also have to grow. So as our economy will grow, our emissions will also grow. We have to provide energy access to all. Village level electrification has been done 100%. So that is a big achievement. But still, we need to have more clean energy sources into our system so that we can give access to everyone, but at the same time not pollute our environment. So DRE systems, they offer a very good solutions. They can, the smart city concept, there also we can integrate the DRE projects. And of course, solar rooftop has been one important area where we are doing a lot of distributed, and we have achieved a lot. But I feel that this sector needs to be pushed. There is, water supply, I was reading, there's charging infrastructure. Then we also have the storage systems where we can have off-grid systems which can improve the agriculture, produce storage of it, and of course, how the farmers can be benefited from it. So with this, I would not take further time. I would like to invite Dr. Srinivas. In fact, I would request Mr. PB Singh to introduce him. He has a lot of experience, and we have all been associated. I was talking to Mr. PB Singh with the Urjagram projects. Urjagram was one concept with the ministry wanted that the village has clean sources of energy, and the entire village is on renewables. So that was the starting point. Dr. Srinivas will agree with me, where we all started towards meeting, providing energy access to everyone in the villages, and of course now the cities and everywhere. So with this, I would once again welcome you, Dr. Srinivas, and I thank you for giving us time, and I thank you that you are giving us this opportunity to listen to you. And I request Mr. PV Singh to kindly introduce him. Thank you very much. Over to you, Mr. Singh.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for welcoming the participants and the speaker. And I'm happy to share, ma'am, that and CEO sir, to Urjagram project. I was the team member of the Urjagram evaluation project, and we completed in the leadership of the Dr. Srinivas. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll welcome to the 62 series of webinar. Skill Council for Green Job is organizing a series of webinar to celebrate Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav as a part of India's celebration of 75 years in independence. In this series, SCGJ is inviting eminent and learned speakers in different sectors on sustainable development, renewable energy, and waste management, so as to deepen the understanding of recent development in these sectors. The first in the series was launched on 24th September 2021. Today we have Dr. Srinivas, who is a very experienced, learned, distinguished speaker, who will be sharing his expertise and experience on synthesizing DRE experience for net zero pathways. Dr. Srinivas has PhD in mechanical engineer science He has been working in the development sector for the last 30 years, particularly in the area of climate action and mitigation, energy access, decentralized renewable energy, energy efficiency, and corporate social responsibility. Currently, he is providing consulting support to the World Bank, UNDP India, and Bangkok, UNIDO, ADB, Administrative Staff College of India, and UNOMEN. He is a trustee for NGOs Swami Shivananda Memorial Institute, mentor for all India Citizen Alliance for the Progress and Development, and president of PAC 2 Act. Dr. Srinivas worked as the Chief Executive Officer of REC Foundation, CSR arms of REC Limited, Government of India. He was CEO at Clean Energy Access Network, New Delhi. He worked in the UNDP as Program Analyst, Energy and Climate Change. He also worked in the Energy and Resources Institute, New Delhi, and IISc, Bangalore. Dr. Srinivas has published over 100 books, papers, reports. He has patient guided over 50 interns for their internship, masters, and PhD. He has provided over 200 plus guest lectures. He has over a dozen recognition for his distinguished contribution. He has visited over 20 countries, including for official missions. Now, I request Dr. S. M. Srinivas to start your presentation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, PB Singh, for very generous introduction. Right away, let me go to the presentation, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Rohit,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah,
Now, sir,
okay.
you may
Okay,
share your
fine,
screen.
perfect. Rohit, is it full screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you. Thank you once again for this nice opportunity. I would like to thank Dr. Saxena, Dr. Dhamija, PB Singh, and all Skill Council for Green Jobs staff who have been at it week on week. We are looking forward to. And I myself, I have been attending this program and quite enriching. And I have attended at least, I can say 30 for sure. And I have saved a lot of this, PPTs, and then it's quite useful, in fact, in my consulting as well. Thank you very much for organizing this. I would only request you to continue to, beyond your 75 Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, I would only wish that you will decide to continue this on a weekly basis. Thank you. Now, today's topic is decentralized renewable energy. How does it help us for the net zero in emissions pathway? So let's try to understand. My talk is going to be around. Let's understand a bit on what is this NZE, what is DRE, and potential for DRE, and a few experiences that where I was kind of involved. I'm only taking some of them. DRE experience. One on the mini grid. We all started, those who have been working in this sector for 30 years, definitely one. DRE means, okay, something done in remote. And if you go to a laboratory, it's something in the corner of that lab is where, these guys are doing. And these guys are like, okay, you see them, they're not, not a white colored, but really blue colored people. And DRE experience 2 is all about heating applications. DRE experience 3, I would just touch upon agriculture value chain. And then I had a long experience of almost 10 years on the sericulture value chain. And to sum up, a few summing up points. So what is NZE? The classical definition of what the IRENA, International Renewable Energy Agency, IEA, all put together is something like this. Net zero refers to not releasing more carbon emissions than you are removing. Little complicated though. But for us to understand, it is eliminating anthropogenic carbon dioxide emissions over a specified period. Now, it has 2 components. One is decarbonization, that is not releasing emissions. Second is then the word, then you are removing. They are negative emissions. That pertains to carbon sinks through forests, carbon capture and storage, geoengineering. So in essence, this is what net zero emissions would mean. Now, we all know decarbonization. Decarbonization is not releasing emissions. It can be done at company, organizational level. For example, Apple has committed, to decarbonize their company. Sectoral decarbonization, electricity sector, building sector, transportation sector, etc. Economy wide or national. So whole nation decides the way we have done, the way many countries have done. And then global level decarbonization. So more or less, if you see, 80% of the shareholding countries, about 137 to be precise as of now, have committed to net zero emissions. The years vary. Many have committed to 2050, and India has committed to 2070 because we have our compulsion to increase our standard of living. So some individual persons have committed net zero. The known personalities, Harry and Meghan Foundation, and multinational corporations like Google, Apple, Walmart, Facebook, etc. And then cities have committed. And then, of course, countries have committed. This little old data, the mid of 2021, but when I checked, it's almost 137 countries now, it seems. So now, for this to happen, what we should be doing if we have to go towards net zero emissions. Now, if you see, in 2018, we have consumed about 378 ettajoules of total final energy. That should reduce by 2050 to 348. Now, if you see on the left-hand side figure, it gives various combination of different fuel sources, energy sources. So if you see there, 25% is contributed by renewable in the form of modern biomass, traditional biomass, and RE, variable RE. So that has to increase to 90%. If 90%, if you see the right side diagram. So this is what has to happen in the next, say, 30 years. Now, given to this, India has committed to not only NDC, but net zero also. If you see here, India has committed to 500 gigawatt of thermal, 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel installations by 2030. And India has, stepped up its ambition than what was earlier, and it has been meeting, in fact, over meeting its target set. For example, 2022, it has set a target of 175. What I see from MNRE's annual report, it has met 188 gigawatt. So next point is 50% of the cumulative electric power installation comes from non-fossil. Today morning only, I was just watching Power Minister's interview with NDTV. He's in Davos, and he says 42% has already been achieved. And in terms of next question comes is, what is in terms of generation? Installed capacity you will do, but what in terms of generation? 25%, he said, already is through non-fossil. So he is quite confident that we will not only touch 50%, but over meet it. So, and then third interesting point in the Panchamrit, what Prime Minister announced during the Glasgow summit last year is on, these 5 important quantifiable targets. 1 billion tons of carbon emissions. I'm particularly reading this out, and at the end, I would like to tell you how DRE can contribute. So and rest of the things are there for you to see. But one important thing is on the green one, which is net zero emissions by 2070. Now, what's DRE? Potential for DRE. Let's see. Now, the classical definition, as I said, classical understanding of people on DRE, as I said earlier, it's remote, rural, and in a laboratory, it's on the remote corner that they're doing something on a cook stove, something on solar water heaters, that kind of a impression. But if you see, the definition goes like this: any system that uses renewable energy to generate, store, and distribute energy in a localized way. It includes off-grid solar systems, pico solar, solar home systems, mini and microgrid powered by solar, biomass, hydro, or a combination of these sources, biomass cook stoves, biogas, solar cookers, and productive applications. So it is needless to say that it plays an important role, particularly in a country diverse like India and many other developing nations, because we are like very small requirements that we have, but dispersed. even as Dr. Dhamija was saying just a while ago, we may have achieved 100% electrification, but we still have not achieved energy, clean energy sources to all our requirement. So if you see, do we have enough DRE products? Apparently we have 400. That's what I was discussing with somebody. And I pulled out this list from Clean Energy Access Network's website. There are about 100. So, when we started 30 years ago, there were hardly 3 or 4 groups working on it and hardly 10 or 15 different products in place. But now it's heartening to see that you name an end application, you have something there. At least a few trials done. Only thing that it requires is a good ecosystem where we really multiply and meet the requirement. I'll come to that. So almost 100, if you just go to different, sectors, you have, further, if you go, different applications are there and people have made products. So how does it look like in the international scenario? If you look at the distributed PV, the red graph, and other renewables, and to an extent bioenergy, they all are kind of catering to what is called decentralized renewable energy, in my view. So if you see, we are increasing globally, not only so all developing nations together are contributing to this growth. So if you look at the distributed renewable energy, are they playing a significant role? If you just India, it may be far lesser, but if you look at countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, Rwanda, etc., anything in the range of 5 to 10% of their energy requirement is coming from distributed renewable energy solutions. So let's look at how we are doing. I pulled out these numbers from MNRE website, where they have presented till 21 end what has been installed in the name of DRE. It's lanterns, home lights, solar pumps, etc., etc. If you look at the last column I have put together is what is the potential. In India, particularly in rural area, in the urban, it has reduced. We used to keep one light on because any emergency we have to go out. So like that, one of the NSSO, National Sample Survey Organization survey said 180 million kerosene lamps. It may have reduced, but definitely my guess is it would be at least 100 million still would be in use. I do not know. Latest data on that is not available, but this is solar lamps can simply replace this kerosene lamps. So in fact, we should at public distribution facility kerosene for this kerosene supply, in my view, can be reduced or closed, and you can replace it with either bio oil or with solar gadgets. So if you look at solar pumps, we have put up about 300,000, and the potential is like 30 million because we have 30 million electrical and diesel pump sets in the country. And similarly, street lights, we have just put up about 145,000, and we have 600,000 villages. You can assume 20 solar street lights to come by. And then solar packs, about 2,500, but just take telecom towers, we have 800,000. So, and coming down, we have a potential of 60 million micro, small and medium enterprises, and dairy, goshala, and 10% biofuel. So all this together, we are sitting on a golden mine of what we can term as decentralized renewable energy, whether it is in going green or creating employment and increasing incomes. So when I was in Clean Energy Access Network, it comes out with status of decentralized renewable energy year on year. 2018, I had the opportunity to author a book publication. So there I tried to quantify in terms of the money. So if you look at off-grid solar PV, solar thermal, and clean cooking systems, but putting a very, very conservative figure, because when I came up with this number, $103 billion US, for the Governing Council of Clean was summoned me, and then they said these figures better be good. I was very confident, and this got published, and afterwards several other DRE the agencies working in DRE have upgraded this number to $140 billion, $200 billion. So like that. So now, first experience on DRE, I myself, when I was a youngster in 1990, after a very brief period as a lecturer after my engineering from NIT Surathkal, I preferred to work on. I gave interview in IISc. There were 3 projects. One, to do something on in solar pond, based in IISc campus in Bangalore, and second was something in sludge reactor based in Bangalore. And third was to work on a village, mini grid system based on the biomass gasification. I preferred that. I wanted flexible in my operation and allow my thinking to, I should have that kind of a freedom. So I went there and I ran this mini grid for 3 years. I must tell you that in those 3 years, I myself was in a village, sat in a village about 12 kilometers from here. I ran this system, 95% of the days, 4 to 6 hours is what we used to give power to that village. 95% of the days it was up and running with 200 plus or minus 10% variation in the voltage, which was unheard of at that time. Now we are all getting very stable power. Probably some of you may not even realize what stable power, how unstable it was in the villages. In the village where I was staying, I used to get 140 to 160 volts. So tube lights will not run. It was only incandescent bulbs which will run with a lot of blinking. So there I used to get only 50% of the day's power. But in the villages where I was involved in running this pilot, I ensured that it ran a very high number of days. It required a lot of commitment, a lot of issues. In the earlier days, it used to have tar, all the issues. But despite that, I got a permission to have a second gasifier so that I increased the performance of the system, etc. So it was an amazing 3 years experience for me in the decentralized renewable energy area. I cherish that. So village looks something like this, but this is I've taken this picture from some other solar-based mini grid. And at some point in time, about 6-7 years ago, I think some of the states which had a lot of villages without power encouraged mini grids. Now, so typically it has on the left side one power pack. Whether it is solar, you will have all the solar related things, panels, batteries, inverters, etc. On the right side is the village, the distribution part. Even whether it is a biogas-based, community-based biogas plant or gasifier-based, left side is a powerhouse and right side is the local distribution. Now, question is, as I took the latest count is something like this, about 9 lakh people are still, I wouldn't say still, but depend on mini grid power in India. 10,000 mini grids by 2022 was the kind of target. I am very sure that would have been met. So point is, are they out of fashion now? I'll come to that. Before that, one most recent experience that I would like to share is I had gone to Uttarakhand on an ADB assignment. Government of Uttarakhand wanted to get rid of pine needles. When they dry and fall on the ground, it would increase the chances of forest fire, and it would not allow growth of plants below that. So they encouraged, power plant, gasifier-based power plant as one of the solutions. I had the opportunity to visit and make an assessment of that, but there is a technical issue. But I immediately suggested that we should go for briquettes and make briquettes. Community, they can put up a community-based briquette plant and have market linkage to something like Rudrapur, Nainital, etc. Not too far away, because the costs then it will increase. So this somehow I felt it's more remunerable and cost effective to go for briquettes. But this particular plant, when I visited in I think July, it was functioning. This is the person who was running it. Outstanding example, I would say, because to run a gasifier power plant, it takes a lot from you. Many of my senior colleagues would definitely watch on this, because they have spent time in observing those two particular power plants. Okay, so are they out of fashion, mini grids? This is something, there was a lot of hype, and in fact, Rockefeller committed almost 1,000 mini grids, and suddenly when Saubhagya came, all houses were electrified. Then the thinking is, oh, no, now they are out of fashion. But in my view, it is transforming. You have 600,000 villages. You need street lights. You need water pumping. Grid, grid power, more than 50% of their grants they are spending on these bills. I know for sure in Karnataka they get, let's say, 10 or 20 lakh rupees per year, and 50% of that goes to paying these bills. So it is only smart for them to get into either solarize or have many whatever is feasible RE in those villages, because it's panchayat's mandate to run the solar street lights and provide drinking water. And we are now going aggressively on solar pump. What will happen? Solar pumps will run are good for 100 days because that's when you need water. But what will you do after that? So you can combine these loads and increase the capacity utilization. So, and in urban also, it's not, in my view, it's not far away that you will come. Right now we are all paying 8 to 10 rupees or 12 rupees. Supposing we get very good, very fancy looking batteries. Right now they are like lead acid, which don't look good. But if you get fancy looking these things, you will keep it next to the TV stand. Just stack it like your boxes, this, and then you run 5 to 10 kilowatt, 2 to 5 or 10 kilowatt, whatever. So each urban household, in my view, in the next 5 to 8 years, can run as a mini grid or microgrid, whatever is the definition. So there is one think tank by one Mr. Rajendra Shande, who was earlier UNEP director, trying to push along with Eric Solheim, not zero, net zero, that is making universities net zero. So all these Urja Gram, PM Adarsh Gram, Pura, providing urban amenities to rural areas, climate smart villages is the recent nomenclature, but they are all, in my view, are same. We are all trying to achieve net zero there by introducing different renewable energy systems. Scope for solarizing housings, health centers. In fact, I'm involved in solarizing health centers, about 150, about 75 in Nagaland, 75 in Madhya Pradesh currently. And then, as I said, premises, panchayats, MSME. Gujarat's Modera, that village, has almost 1 kilowatt system on every household. That's what on the right side, the picture, both the pictures that you see. So that's almost that's declared as a net zero energy village. So, I'm working with the World Bank on this particular thing. Why, we could, that's what I have been discussing with many Prime Minister's Awas Yojana or housing schemes of state governments. Many housing schemes are there. For example, in Karnataka, there are half a dozen housing schemes, police housing scheme, Dr. Ambedkar housing scheme, etc. So one can easily see, I did an analysis for economically weaker section set of people in the Prime Minister's Awas Yojana. Typically, they consume about 1,100 units of power. So I tried to see, put all energy efficiency measures and top it up with rooftop. 33% of roof area you cover with solar. With this, when you make the passive measures, it will reduce by 30 to 35%, and include the energy efficient appliances, another 15% reduction. So by doing these two itself, the 1,100 will be, you will reduce about 450 or so. So add it up with solar power, it can 1.5 kilowatt system can add about 1,500 to 1,600. Thereby, you actually supply 90% excess and earn money. So what is the additional cost? Hardly 1 lakh rupee. Payback appears big, 10 rupees. But if you see the cost of power, I have taken it as 4.5. But after that, I made the slides, the present prices are like 7 or 7.5 rupees in Karnataka. So it would reduce, the payback would reduce to like 7 or 6.5 years. And as we go by, the power prices from conventional electricity will only increase. The payback on the investment only will reduce. So I'm giving this consultancy input to World Bank on considering about 100,000 houses where about 1,000 crores of investment just on the renewable energy can be included, and that is like the climate sensitive building climate sensitive housing. World Bank can consider this as a loan lent to the states, and that they are seriously considering it. And in fact, after my next deadline after today, by tomorrow, I have to give an approach paper to do that for Karnataka. So, I saw one poll guarantee just about 2-3 days ago in Karnataka. I mean, I will take the name of the party. Congress party gave this promise that 200 units of electricity to every household will be guaranteed. That means about 9,000 crores to the exchequer every year. So this would mean about 72,000 crores in 8 years. In this 72,000 crores, with the net present value basis, you can put up 1.5 kilowatt systems on those 62.5 lakh households that they are considering, and they can generate 200 units of power every month. So, and they can last for 25 years, and it can, even assuming about 200 households are catered by one person who will take care of these systems, from performance point of view or maintenance point of view, it can create 32,000 direct green jobs. So this will also complement Prime Minister's COP26 commitment of 500 gigawatt. This would mean almost, assuming 20 gigawatt is for each of the state, 25 major states if you take, and that means this will become 10 gigawatts, just this from 62.5 lakh houses. So my take is go green with your coal plants. Anganwadis, every district has about 500 to 1,000 Anganwadis, and they are most often they are unable to pay the electricity bill on time, and it gets cut. And that's why, in fact, Muzaffarpur in Bihar, they said we want solarized Anganwadi because most often we see Anganwadis are unable to pay on time and their electricity is cut. So we want that to be independent. So in my view, the mini grid or concept of mini grid, pico grid is going to transform and come in different fashion back either in rural or in urban areas. When I was also CEO of REC Foundation, this is a National Association for the Blind in Delhi. So this is a 65 kilowatt system. When we put up, they don't need to pay their electricity. So every month their 20,000 rupees electricity bill is completely offset. So the residential premises, they can directly go for this and reduce their monthly cash outflow. Let me come to heating applications. This is something which is like always I'm quite passionate about. If you see, 50% of primary energy is in the form of heat in India, and rest of the country, rest of the globe also, it's a big share. I don't know, it may not be 50%, maybe slightly less or more, but around there. But we do not have, unfortunately, we at the present we are not focusing sufficiently enough, in my view. So we are again sitting on a gold mine with reference to thermal applications and convert it into our GHG emissions. I'll come to that in a while. So if you see 50%, 50% of that goes to industrial process heat, and residential cooking accounts to 37%. This is slightly old, but it is not varying much, maybe 5% here or there. So, these are again old, but go by sector, industry by industry. All these industries, you have an opportunity to convert them into renewable energy users or reduce the biomass that they are using. I'm not going into the details of this, but few initiatives. Gasifiers are not so cost effective with reference to electricity now, because the cost is in the range of 8 to 13 rupees per unit of power, but they make immense sense for thermal. In fact, quite a few people are in their own way, about 100 to 150 gasifiers they have sold and slowly selling. and they're supplying sized biomass, which is still quite remunerative and making their business. At least I myself was involved in licensing about half a dozen manufacturers. But what has not happened is it has not multiplied. We still need to find out ways and means how we can multiply. But they're doing business. Even now they're doing business. I'm in touch with them. So lead melting or after ice making, or this. In fact, we initiated gasifier energy service company, which is first of its kind, where he has not sold a gasifier, but steam. Whatever steam you are getting from LPG burning, so same steam is given. The company will run this gasifiers, and every day, say 2,000 rupees was the expenditure on LPG. You give me only 1,000 rupees. That was the contract. So, I mean, these kind of experiments were done, and some are running about 100 to 150, as I said, per manufacturer. About half a dozen manufacturers are doing this, but it has not multiplied. We have to find ways. On the bottom, that what you see, I'm in the picture there. It's a puffed rice making unit. All this bhelpuri. So the right side is my design, which I designed, fabricated, ran it in the system, and right now it is put into use in a different fashion as a combustor in Davangere Smart City. I'm quite happy to learn that when one of the manufacturer with whom this license agreement has happened, he is doing that. Now coming to solar water heaters, we are sitting again here. We have done only 20 million meter square of solar, whereas you see we have 300. Sorry, there is a mistake. 300 million houses, double million has appeared. So we should be doing at least 300 million meter square. If you do that, assuming it's actually calculation show 1 ton of carbon dioxide is reduced by 1 meter square of solar water heater. So you can do 300 million tons of carbon dioxide reduction by 2030, even assuming just 1 year. So just this alone is sufficient to accumulate 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide by 2030. So just this alone is sufficient. And on the pictures you see, several efforts to fabricate the small systems which can be carried to different hills, etc. So these were some of the results of one of the projects which I was involved on behalf of UNDP with MNRE. So another is medium temperature application. Here also there is enormous scope. You went through one detailed talk by Pankaj just about 4 or 5 weeks. I'm not going into the details, but it suffices to say that right now India has put up about 300 systems, maybe 50,000 meter square, but we are sitting on several million meter square of area. 1,000 times more is the potential. So on the right side you see this very interesting system where it is put on the 4th floor of a building in RK Mission in Chennai, and it has a facility to store the steam so that morning 4 o'clock they can prepare breakfast and give it to the students by 7 o'clock, and they can also cook the last evening meal too. All meals are cooked by using this solar concentrator. So we are almost leaders in solar concentrators in the world as of now for heat applications. So we can capitalize on that. What is the issue right now? The payback on the investment is 6 years. That is not what industry will invest. So we have to reduce it to something below 3 years. How can we do? Just the way we did for solar photovoltaic. What were 2 issues were there which were solved by the government? One, the land issue. Second, evacuation issue. Similarly here, if a consistent policy is there and a large production is there, it would reduce the cost, number one. Number two, every subcomponent should be made efficient. Thereby, it would further reduce the cost. So by doing all this, if it is possible, and also complement it with some kind of a central financial assistance by carbon tax or whatever, there are many ways on coal cess people are collecting. So till it is cost effective, one can support through carbon cess or something like that. So this is another interesting thing where solar distillation without any power input. This is a technology by Solar Institute Zurich, Germany. I was involved in running them in a village and also a control system in the in Terry campus in Bangalore, but it did not take off. But there lies a lot of promise with these kind of technologies. I'm very sure they will all come back. And then coming to biomass value chain, if you remember, about a year ago, the cost of coal increased very significantly from 7 rupees per kg to 14 rupees per kg. In Surat, I'm actually helping UNIDO in making a proposal on energy efficiency improvements in boilers. When we did a survey, Surat, 80% of the about 50 industries which were surveyed have converted from coal to biomass. So briquetting is one of the big area. 250 million tons of surplus biomass is available. That's one big area where we can DRE can take off in producing and selling these briquettes to the industries. Okay, my third set of experiences on the agriculture value chain. There is a general say that if you put up the solar photovoltaic for pumping or on the agriculture land, the growth will not happen. But apparently, Japan and Germany have been experimenting on how to avoid this issue. Rather, use it for the benefit, because you will clean up and water will go and there is shade. Excess temperature will not go and spoil the growth of the plant. They have experimented and they have come up with this kind of a configuration. If you put up in that configuration, it will rather help the growth of the plants. So that's called agrivoltaics. And India also, there are quite a few experiments. In fact, Amity University has done a very useful experiment with a lot of data. So I'm just putting these things for your information. And solar cold storage are a very important thing. In fact, I'm involved with UNDP in promoting solar cold storages in a few states. So right now there are about 350 such products. And typically when I went to Kodarma village in Jharkhand and had a discussion with farmer producer organization, the very interesting things came out. Whenever the cost of sabzi, vegetables is less than 20 rupees per kilo, they would put it into this cold storage, tomato, beetroot, carrot, things like that. And whenever the market price is more than 20 rupees, they would take it out and sell. About 100 farmers use this 5 metric ton of solar cold storage. We should find a way. Right now, it's about 15 to 16 lakh rupees. When UNDP, from their first purchase at 16 lakhs, when they made a big order of 30, big order is 30 because it's still in the nascent stage, the cost fell down to 14 lakh rupees. So you see how the mass production scale of operation will reduce the cost. And very interesting thing I observed with this farmer producer organization is when it's not there, let's say vegetables produced by them, but when the market price is less than 20 rupees, they would buy that vegetables from the market, put it into their solar cold storage, and when it is not grown by them but elsewhere, and then sell it when the cost is more than 20 rupees per kg. People find innovative ways to increase their incomes. This will go a long way in increasing the incomes. Prime Minister has called for doubling the income. These are the gadgets which can really help one negotiate better prices and increase the income. Another is the wastage. 35% is the wastage in the agriculture value chain. So there are biomass-based cold storage is also, that's win-win, because in the fields you will get a lot of biomass waste residue in the form of residue, etc. available. And then solar dryers is another big area because it can have much required shelf life, and thereby better negotiation for the price. And not only that, there are some significant studies which say nutrition value is also quite high. So we are again sitting just about 3,500 such dryers are put up, and there exists a lot of entrepreneurial opportunity. All these are kind of locally produced. Whereas if you look at SPV, we have to guard ourselves from investing in other countries like China and buy purchasing from there, we are perhaps, if I may say, are we not increasing their GDP? So whereas all this solar, our DREs per se, they're customized, they're local. So and they require installations. So they're better bet for our pathway to net zero, in my view. So I bumped into this very interesting innovation by Train Technologies. It's a big multinational company working in the area of cold chain. They provide cooling solutions to Walmart and things like that. So few individuals who are interested in doing something for the society, they found out this very interesting, simple concept. You are seeing a cart, and above that some kind of a foil. It's a solar reflective foil. So it reflects 95% of the heat. Thereby, inside the cart, the temperature is reduced by 8 to 12 degrees centigrade. Typically, what happens if you these vegetables, when they buy in the morning, this when the last mile vendor will buy it at the at the mandi at around 3:30 in the early in the morning, and by 3 o'clock in the afternoon they have to sell it out. Otherwise, it will go. You are unable to sell it the next day. Particularly leafy vegetable, which is like women are involved more in this produce, and they particularly go bad by end of the day, and they're compelled to sell it at a very low price. And they have estimated a global loss is around $750 billion annually due to this last mile issue. So they have experimented this in Kolar. Kolar district is, though it's very next to Bangalore, but temperatures are high. So they are experimented it in there, but it's not their main forte, but it's open for, they're ready to share the whatever technique that they have developed with whoever is interested. Solar refrigerators, again, I'm not going into these details. Just to suffice to say that DRE, you have now products and enterprises possible. I only look for Skill Council for Green Jobs to add this DRE in a big way in their syllabus, in their qualification packs. Micro pumps is another big area. Again here, I don't understand why every household, we have urban households are about 270 million. Why we cannot even, we can make mandatory, the solar pumps. It is hardly 30, 40, 50 feet height that you have to pump up the water from the sump to, the overhead tank. So there should be, if you see, only 500, 600 micro pumps are installed, but we don't need a huge pump in our house, which will only pump up in 15 minutes, even if it takes 4 hours. What's the problem? So have a low power with a few panel pumps, and then you can pump up in a green way. My last set of experience is on the sericulture value chain. I spent almost 10 years in the sericulture value chain from the energy perspective. I'll narrate 1, 2, or 3. One is you have these houses. They actually mulberry leaves are fed to the worms, and they produce cocoons, and they require a temperature range of 23 to 28 degrees centigrade, just like us. So silkworms are also like us. If it goes beyond that, the whole yield is either bad or it will be wasted. So you have almost 300,000 families depending on it. And in all, the silk in India, I think it's second it is second in the world, and we produce significant silk. And from the point of view of so 300,000 houses, actually what they do in the winter, they run this 400 watts bulbs to warm it up, or heaters. Some people use heaters. In the summer, they use the local methods. Some the minute you go for air conditioners, etc., it is not remunerative. So that's why they resort to the localized methods. Localized methods are something of this nature. So when I was in Terry, at that time, MNRE was kind enough to sanction this project to make solar passive silkworm rearing houses. But Terry did a good job and came out with this house which maintained the temperature But there is a opportunity to multiply that. As I said, 300,000 houses actually practice sericulture in South India, and mostly South India only, because in the northeast and the east, they harvest it directly from the trees, tasar, muga, etc. So let me go to few other experiences. If you see, just converting cocoons to silk, they use if you see the left hand side, they use biomass. Every unit uses almost 100 200 kgs of biomass to, and like this there are 25 plus thousand units, and they burn about 225,000 tons of fuel in the form of loose biomass as well as woody biomass. Even today they are running. The minute they go for gas or something, the cost would be prohibitive and they won't get returns. Whereas this kind of a system reduces almost by, not only reduces the biomass consumption, since the temperature is consistent, silk yield increased by 3.5%, and the quality of silk also improved. I'm just sharing this because we have in India several such applications. So each application you get into, you will find out the whole value chain, and you will find more opportunities. So this is again a value chain of the silk. Next is the bleaching, and after the bleaching there is the coloring. So and then if you go further, if you see wherever on the left side, you see the chimneys are like bare. And if you are able to touch it, then you can assume, okay, the thermal engineer has no business. But if you are unable to touch it, then if you see on the right side, simple jackets like this, water jackets like this, can reduce significant biomass consumption and provide the required hot water or whatever it is. So these are some of the pictures. Solar charaka, again, 10 lakh, more than 10 lakhs of charakas are in operation. So they can be solarized. That reduces the drudgery of a woman who can produce, say, half a kg of yarn per day. They can produce about 2 kilos if they have solarized charaka. So there are some, in fact, I was involved in REC, where we gave a KVSC center in Varanasi. They're running, they're training about 1,000 women on this solarized charka operation to run their business. Solar looms are attached to solar charka. I'm not going to the details. So I will just, before some interesting DRE. This is something which bumped into when I was again the CSR. Jhuggi Jhopdi, they have, they cannot put up a school, permanent school. So the children remain, almost 1 million children are without school because they have nowhere to go. All these come up in the areas which are like away from the city. They are new cities in a way. So where there are no schools, and both parents are going for work. They cannot afford, so they remain without any education. So a proposal came to me that they would like to run a bus, and then my earlier experience of what will they do in summer, what will they do for light if the last winter in Delhi, say in the evening 4 o'clock it will become dark. So I said, why don't you, if they have to run the engine to run these gadgets, it is prohibitively expensive. So I suggested, let's go for solar roof. And then they tried. There were a lot of hindrances. RTO would not give approvals, and bus company would not give guarantees. But this was put up, and solar rooftop was put up, and they're running with the lights, the fans, and a projector and a computer using this this thing. So I made a back of envelope calculation. How many such buses are required to educate our 1 to 2 million children? It's about 2 to 4,000 such buses would be required. Anyway, so he's trying, but I'm just saying DRE can just be everywhere. Okay, I'll just skip this. And then this another thing is, I don't know how many of you have visited the only toilet museum of the world. That is in Mangalpuri, in near Dwarka, in Delhi. I'm sure Dr. Saxena and Dr. Dhamija would have visited, but I urge others to really go here and see. They have done a wonderful job. there are community, there are public toilets. They have connected it to biogas. So why can't we do for all institutional premises, particularly the district hospitals or any universities where you run these kind of things, run an engine, run your canteen. If not, if that is a taboo, you run a hot water system, whatever it is. So these are tremendous opportunities on which we are sitting. So I'm leaving this, few videos when I on 25 different applications, 4 to 5 minutes videos. They are all available on the YouTube. So those who are interested can watch. I'm not going to run any of them because short of my time here. So I see, Skill Council. I was going through the Skill Council's website and brochures. You have a big target of 3.5 crore jobs by 2047. My request is, how if you can please give. Of course, I'm available for my thoughts on this. How can you make all this decentralized renewable energy also in your envelope? That is one of the. Now, in summing up, what can we do in DRE? At the household level, we have 300 million households. That's our potential. Net zero energy houses, energy efficiency, solar roof, cooking solutions, solar induction stoves, improved cook stoves, biogas, solar water heaters, solar pump, zero wet waste. I did not cover this either by composting or by biogas plants. Smart metering, because you know what you are consuming. Agriculture, 30 million electrical and diesel pump sets should be replaced through solar pumps. Solar cold storages, they run into lakhs in terms of potential. Solar dryers, they also can run into lakhs. At self-help groups, there are about 7.8 lakh self-help groups, and villages we have 600,000. So mini grids, microgrids at the village level, I explained to you for the public utilities. Common compost, anaerobic sludge blanket reactors, different kind of biogas production. And then at the enterprises level, you have 60 million enterprises. All of them will require energy, either for electricity or for process heat or for both. And then there is a lot of research that can go on in this DRE, just to name a few. Solar distillation, mixer grinder, because a high temperature solar furnace, solar systems of higher efficiency. If we are able to get it here, it will become even smarter. So I think now, where is the money? There is a climate finance. There is a lot of push by developing nations on making $100 billion available every year. And then several other international funding sources, CSR funds. Public sector has 3,000 crores, private sector has about 7,000 crores, and include DRE into National Rural Livelihood Mission and State Rural Livelihood Mission. Subsidies and loans. And most important is ensure that it appears in the policies and schemes, both national and international, at the international fora. So in all, what should we watch out in the DRE ecosystem? It should get included in state action plan on climate change. I'm involved in writing, in adding, revising the few chapters and adding a few chapters on Madhya Pradesh and Bihar. I have included them. Skill Council for Green Jobs, India Cooling Action Plan comes up with a lot of market potential in the cooling space, $900 billion in the agriculture cold chain, $1.3 trillion in the space cooling. Clean Energy Access Network is a fantastic resource in terms of documents, in terms of its network of 150 to 100 agencies. And you may know that Parliament has come out with this new bill on Net Zero Emission Commission. Correct me, Dr. Saxena, if I'm right or wrong on this. NZE councils, they are putting up at the state level and district level, and they are making annual reporting as a requirement back to Parliament. So these are some things where we should watch out. All of us, whoever are in this area, should include a DRE ecosystem in all the areas that we come across. With this, thank you very much for the opportunity. I don't know if I have exceeded my time, but thank you very much. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Srinivas. Very, very illustrative. Very, very, it has covered so much. a true picture of the DRE sector. But what I want, there are no questions. Everybody has said it is very informative, very good talk, and they have learned a lot. But at the same time, I would like to mention, when you showed the slide of MNRE, biomass gasifiers, which you and I would say they have a lot of potential, and they did exist. We have done a lot of work, but they never found a mention in the DRE, systems in the MNRE list. So that is very sad. You've told about the Hoshali village, the Tunkur project of UNDP, 500 kilowatt. That was also very, very illustrative. Then the West projects with Dr. Saxena also, we were there together and we had set up so many, but it's very unfortunate that none of them are listed anywhere or are projected. And we need to popularize this biomass gasifier. When you were giving the talk, I tried to check up with Bangalore. India Mart is offering small gasifiers. So this is the type of market potential or the market channel which has developed. But in our government, I think so we still don't have, we have lost track of it. That is very sorry, I should say. And I'd like Dr. Saxena to.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Srinivas. In fact, probably even if you have not exceeded the time. Second, even if you have exceeded the time, that is well spent, frankly speaking.
Yeah.
Beautiful information compiled, beautiful experience. In fact, the very reason when we discussed about your topic was that your experience is so rich that all of us need to be enriched with this. Thank you very much once again. I can see that you have given a lot of homework to Skill Council for Green Jobs. Surely we will not disappoint you, and we'll do our best. One small favor I would like from you is that we are thinking of sort of preparing a series of webinars on hydrogen, because hydrogen mission has been announced on 4th of January, and there is a lot of international experience. Maybe almost every country has done something or the other. So, and considering that you have been always associated with international organizations, I would request if you can put together, maybe whenever it is convenient to you, something on what is happening internationally in green hydrogen or hydrogen. So we will approach you whenever your time permits. I know you are always tied up with various things, but that would be a good area on which we would like your short intervention presentation, because we are also now working for what kind of a jobs we should look at, what kind of a job opportunities we have in green hydrogen. The mission document says that we would have about 6 lakh jobs in green hydrogen alone. So we are all gearing up for that, and it would be extremely important for us to take your views in this matter. You have offered your services for 3 crore. I'm just talking about 60 lakhs.
I would like to add here, what about hydrogen from biomass? Like they're saying green hydrogen. Now, biomass also has been identified as one of the potential sources. So when you do this hydrogen series, don't forget biomass. I know this is your core this thing, and we cannot delink ourselves with biomass.
Were you not surprised to see the list he has shown on the DRE applications?
No, this is there. We worked in this sector. It has always been there, but we used to do solar dryers, we used to do small applications, but these applications have never come, they've never been propagated the way they should be.
And I was thinking the only way to push this is to create more and more entrepreneurs, because none of us can reach to the villages, frankly speaking. So why not to create more and more solar entrepreneurs from rural areas, handhold them, tell them what are the possible applications, and probably they themselves would take it to their villages. We need not to really go as government or MNRE or any other organization. Why not to do a lot of skilling of entrepreneurs on various aspects of decentralized energy applications? I would be very happy to plan it out, Dr. Srinivasan, with the motivation you have given to us as a new area on which probably which can make surely a difference in net zero also, and carbon emissions reduction also.
Questions are there in the chat box. One, Mr. Sanjay Mande, he has said that coverage is very good. very informative. But he feels that MNRE instead of power should have focused on thermal applications due to high opportunity cost it can offer to local biomass. What are your comments on this?
Mandeji, I fully, I mean, on this subject, Mandeji would have been a better speaker actually. He knows it all. So, so Mandeji, you are absolutely right. In fact, that's what they should be, because I still feel what MNRE has done in the solar photovoltaic is fantastic. So now is the time to really, put full gear on the thermal. I mean, I fully agree with that.
Yeah, and there's one more question, are we, this is Mr. Dhamaraju. He says, are we going towards industrial thermal applications?
I don't know. I don't understand the question fully, but,
You are there,
industrial
Mr.
application is already
Dhamaraju?
there.
Yeah.
Industrial thermal application is already there.
Yeah.
So it's only how much of, efficient you can make it. For example, boilers, I'm providing the support to Unido. To our surprise, when we actually went to the field and found out the boiler efficiency, the claimed efficiency is 80%, 75%. But on field, it ranges from 42 to 62%. So are there ways to reduce that inefficiency? And one is inefficiency, and another is, if it is steam and all, one can look at the concentrator as a route. If it is only hot water, one can look at the solar water heater. So first is reduce whatever you are using, and another is replace. Dhamaraju, yeah, please go ahead. Not able to hear you. Can you be louder or nearer the mic?
Hello, sir. Actually, I am asking about the chemical reactions part. Actually, right now, industry is not using much of the solar part of thing, except for steam and all. I absolutely agree with you for boiler and all. In future, when we are talking about net zero and all, then I feel that part of the load should be taken from the chemical reactions point of view, reactors point of view, and at high temperatures beyond 400, 500 degrees centigrade, at that kind of thing, so that the efficiencies and then net zero objectives can be met, in my opinion.
No, you are right. I had the opportunity to go with MNRE senior officials to Germany. I had a chance to witness this solar furnace, which can take the temperature up to 2000 degrees centigrade. But right now it is very costly. But there are some solutions even at that range. We asked this question to Germany counterparts. Why are you, is it useful immediately to you? They said not immediately in our country, but we are preparing for the future. So, there are some solutions that people are working already at a very high temperature of up to over 300, 400 degrees centigrade, which goes beyond the current solar concentrators which are able to provide.
Even let me share with you, actually, we are working in thermochemical hydrogen generation reactions, actually, at ONGC Energy Center. We are also looking out for some kind of sources, solar thermal, where we can get a temperature of the scale of order of 100,000 degrees centigrade, actually 500,000 degrees range, like, so that at least things will be going into the green energy.
Dhamaraju, I do not know in terms of the cost economics, but that you will look at. I can give that link offline.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. It's a wonderful presentation. Actually, we enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you.
Somebody has Dr. Sunil Dambe. He said that, Dr. Srinivas, you have discussed everything under the sun and blended it with several interesting case studies. If you have to pick up two prominent limitations, which would these be?
Oh, very difficult question. Sunil, you come up with difficult questions. One is, what is one limitation is whatever said and done, it has to be driven from central leadership. I was in the panel with the World Bank officer about a month ago. So he asked me this question. I was propagating this Prime Minister's Awas Yojana going net zero. So why is it not happening? Okay. So we gave different answers, but I will only copy his answers to you now, which he said, why don't you make, a Prime Minister mission, Prime Minister's net NZE PMA? Why? It will all happen. So I would only look for such a shaking up by the top leadership on looking into the DRE.
Mr. Sanjay has given this. He says that for effective DRE promotion, user-friendly product development should have been given more attention in policies for its wider use, adoption, and enhancing its capacity utilization to enhance its economic viability. Of course, that is what I was also saying. Okay, our policies did not take cognizance of the developments we had in the development sector.
Well,
So,
once we have this kind of a scale, Dr. Damijaji, the way we have set targets in the SPV that we would like to do 100 gigawatts, the rest all will fall in place.
But Dr. Sab, don't you feel that time has come where we don't need any subsidy? These products are so user friendly. And I think cost is also not the payback period. See, biogas, look at the biogas. Now the payback period is so short. In gasifiers also, I think all the units, TERI has set up so many units in all the namkeen producing units, all there's what I used to see in your reports. So I think it should get set, like people like you can, push it further. You can, because you have the information, you have the technology, only you have to connect to these industries and give them the solutions. I visited Nagpur and I visited all the eateries also where I could promote the eco-friendly stoves. They were using it. And there was a regular supply of biomass pellets also. They were buying the pellets from the person who had supplied the stove, like you showed in ESCO. And they were replacing LPG. They were very happy. The replacement costs were, it was financially viable. They were, not having any problem, no supply, nothing. Everything was good. No emissions. So such companies have to come up, They have to go, they have to push, talk, and convince people, and people are convinced.
This is some bit of a pull factor, Dr. Damija. Just the way this 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide reduction is the target, one of the target under the NDC. If if I may say, it includes not only electrical but thermal, and then carbon market will also help for the initial pull. That would perhaps help this sector much more. Because, as you know, photovoltaic, just 10 years ago, it was 17 rupees per unit of power. In 10 years, we are down to 2.55 rupees per unit. That's not very sustainable, though. It can benefit better if it is 4 rupees. But something like that nature, that kind of a pull is very essential.
So that you have to focus, you have to emphasize, because I don't want to quote, but in one of the meetings I went for when my MNRE launched the bioenergy mission, the bioenergy programs, Mr. R.K. Singh, he had said that we are confident we will meet our targets through solar, but we need biomass so that we can improve the life condition of the farmer to double his income. So I feel some of the consultants or some of the people who are in this field, they need to emphasize on this point, what you are saying, that this also will be a big contribution to the net zero goal. Targets gigawatt level we will achieve, but what about the emissions in parallel with it? And what are you are ameliorating the conditions, you are making it better for the masses, which are already 60% in the rural areas. It makes a lot of difference. A smaller solar light, a small lamp. In the West projects, life had transformed when they had shifted from the kerosene, lamp or the kerosene pot they were using to bulbs. It made a lot of difference. They said that we are now seeing Diwali after 60 years of independence. That was the type of interaction we had. So that focus also has to be there.
Yeah, I agree. Just take solar water heater, which is proven. You don't need any subsidy, just a pull. And include that in the, you can include that 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide in the NDC target. The solar water heater is also gets included, and make a mission for 100 million meter square. Right now we are at 2022, but 100 million meter square would be sufficient to pull through your 1 billion tons per cumulatively by 2030. So that little pull is required there.
Yeah. Dr. Sab, aapka.
Yeah, Charlie, thank you so much, Dr. Srinivasan. In fact, it's an endless discussion. All of us have been in the field for 35 years, 40 years. So PB, now your duty to thank the speaker and close the session.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir, for the excellent presentation. In the presentation, you cover all the sectors very well, and that's provide very good knowledge to participants. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to thank all the participants for his valuable time and patience for listening. Thank you all for joining. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you,
Thank you very much,
Srinivas.
Dr. Srinivasan. Thanks a
Thanks
lot.
to all the
Thank you very much.
participants.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
तो फिल्टर का ऑप्शन बेसिकली इसीलिए होता है कि व्हाटएवर द फिल्टर यू हैव यू कैन अप्लाई दैट और उसको यहाँ पे तो इस तरह से